here we're getting down to work. There's some wood look tile that I'm moving. There's enough to do most of the house right there. I say most of the house, about half the house. The other half will get carpet, or maybe the other 2/3 will get carpet. Bedrooms in the hall will have carpet. Anyhow, we go in here. This is my tool room. So I'm going to try not to put a bunch of trash in there, because it is a bedroom, but temporarily it's where I'm keeping my tools. So makes fetching my tools real easy. Let's pick them up. Oh, here comes Jack. Check us out. All I got to do is hit that tool, go boop boop, and Jack runs for the hills, because apparently in a previous life he'd been done wrong by a power tool. And here we are again. Let's use this magic tool to knock this glazing out. And unfortunately, this glazing has never been in the sun. It is not dried out. It is actually in really good shape, which would be great, but I want to take it out. And I'm not patient. This is the last of 17 windows. And I really wish I had videoed how good the glazing came out on the side that got exposed to the sun and the weather, because it was magical. This right here, you can see I've already broke the glass. And honestly, if I hadn't been videoing this, I probably would have just taken and smacked it and tried to make most of the glass fall outward. But at the time, I was like, well, let's go ahead and try to do this and get this glass out mostly intact. And I'm getting impatient, and there we go. I dropped that big piece and of course shattered it right there at my feet. Using that Diablo blade and Sawzall and cutting these hinges. There we go. Gotta use a short blade or hit that window pane on the inside and bend the blade and ruin it. Ask me how I know. Now, if you have a single stile in the middle of a window, you can take and just bend it back and forth, and the little joint will break. And like that. But when you have two, they're braced against each other. It don't work. Just making an opening for the pry bar at each center. Good luck trying to pry from a corner. That would be a very bad idea. And go ahead and use that. And wife is there, so I have her hold it while I cut it, rather than doing that awkward thing to hold it and cut it at the same time. There we go. Unwrap these things. I was rather impressed that we got all these windows, and none of them came to us broke. And once this window's installed, you'll see that I didn't break any installing them, which is a pretty good deal. Fit very tight, very tight. I'll have to take a good bit off. So you'll see me shaving it here. Stuccos, apply by hand even now, but in 1953, who knows how much experience the fellow doing this stucco had. But in these windows, I noticed wide variation. The windows are all the same size, but as far as when you come out, there's a pretty vast difference from window opening to window opening. Some of these set right in, some were tight, some were loose. But like I said, when I took the measurement, if the windows were the same size, I averaged it knowing that I could take additional material off if I needed to. I already had these tools. And it actually went as well or better than I ever would have expected. I'm one of those people that if you hadn't cussed and you hadn't bled, it ain't much of a project. And believe it or not, these windows were actually a pretty easy project by comparison to many. Yes, you will see me sip on a beer, but I promise you, I never drank enough to notice it. It just tastes better than water when you're doing this type of work. Working on those corners, because the way these windows are formed together, they have kind of this spike thing on the corners. There we go. Looks like it's gonna work. A cold front had come in, so we went home, had lunch, came back to work on it. And home is next door, by the way. But anyhow, that's still us. We're a little cold, and I learned over the course of doing these windows that you always want to shoot the top screws first. It seemed to work out best. Now, some of them are tight enough it probably wouldn't matter as far as my fit from top to bottom. I got cocky. I drilled several holes at once. And see, look, see, I'm doing something crazy. I'm shooting several screws at once. Well, you'll notice that this window is separate windows next to the screws. So my thinking was, it's obvious which screw is the problem, so I can go ahead and shoot them all. So when you have screws on both sides of one opening window, you need to check it each time because you don't know which one's your problem. And you can kind of eyeball it, but I tried to not shoot them overly deep. I kind of figure if for some reason, I can't imagine it, but if the screw backed out or something shifted and it was in the way later, that I would probably just turn it by hand, but I don't want that screw shot any tighter than it needs to be. And there we go.